up, you guys? It's your favorite sports chica, Carolina Teague, and this is episode 23 of League of Our Own. Welcome back. It's April 5th, right after April Fool's Day, and I'm here at VodPod Media with my guy, radio husband.
It's 5 days after April Fool's Day.
And producer Caitlyn Jackson, making sure everything's running smoother than olive oil on a baby's behind. And I really mean that, too, when I say that, because, like, he wants everything to be smooth.
Whatever.
Smooth. Too smooth sometimes.
No, it doesn't look too smooth.
I'm just messing with you.
Your legs all stubbly. Don't be putting that on me.
I know. Prickly. That's what I always say when my
prickly.
Prickly is from the movie Bridesmaids. Okay, so I want to make sure everything's running. We're making sure everything's running smoother than olive oil on a baby's behind. We have a fun show today. I didn't see you guys last week. We're going to talk about the winners and the losers of March Madness. March Madness was insane. A whole lot of things happened. We didn't expect for certain teams to lose. We didn't expect certain teams to win. But there was a lot of winners and losers over the past weekend. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of people. And we're going to ask you guys, do you guys think these people are winners and losers? And we'd love to get your thoughts. So let's get started.
Is your TV working over there?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
It's working for me. So we didn't see you guys last week, but we feel like we kind of made up for it. We had the Holly Holm interview come out, and it's doing really well on social media. And we worked really, really hard behind the scenes to get that done. Now we're past that threshold, and we're back into our fun times here at the studio. I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us live on Twitter and Facebook Live. Hello, Adam Wolf. Thank you so much for tuning in. Caitlyn, how was your week? Before we get in, make it real quick because we're kind of running a little bit behind. It's
How you
my
gonna
fault.
tell me to make it quick? I know it's quick.
I didn't
Control,
say you didn't
man.
know. I'm just saying.
The word of today is control.
The
just
word
to
of
let everybody
word
know.
of today is control. We need to
It
release
is.
control.
You do.
We do. We do.
You do. No, man. I think that the Holly Holm video is huge for us. We've hit over almost 2,000 views on that video. Check it out on League of Our Own. That was a really special time for Carolina and I got to do some crazy production. It looks extremely professional. Carolina did a great interview. We got FaceTime with like a champ. You know what I'm saying? Like a champ, you know.
And the best part is she ended up winning.
She wound up winning a decision. She's in her 40s. Like it's huge. So our little podcast production company, League of Our Own, we're growing by leaps and bounds, and we're experiencing growing pains.
I'm not.
Because everybody wants a piece of us.
Yeah.
And so it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing when everybody wants a piece of you. But we do a great job with communicating well and making sure that we are getting all of our needs met and getting all of our points across. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the Holly Holm interview was great. It was super last minute. And I want to let you guys know, Caitlyn did a great job. It was within 24 hours that we got the notification that we were going to interview Holly Holm. Very little time to prep, but it came out really well. And I was really proud of the outcome, and we're just really grateful for Holly Holm, and we're really grateful for the outcome of the interview. We'd like to personally thank the UFC for the opportunity for allowing us to interview Holly Holm, one of the greatest fighters of all time, not just male or female, but a fighter, period. She ends up winning, and she signs a 6-fight deal. She talked about her age. You guys can go check it out on my YouTube channel. Just type in Carolina Teague and Holly Holm if you guys want to check it out. It's a really great interview, and the production was incredible. We all worked really well. Amzai, myself, Maximo, Nick, and of course Caitlyn behind everything. It came together really, really well, and I was really happy.
Check it out. Y'all did check it out.
Yeah, check it out for sure.
All right, so did you watch the Final Four?
I did. I thought well, we're gonna do this or that, and I think the Final Four is gonna be on there, but I thought male's Final Four was a snooze fest because of all the great stuff that happened in the women's Final Four. I mean, Caitlyn Clark is one of a generational talent in women's basketball. She's incredible. And like I was watching First Take, and Stephen A. Smith said it perfectly about her, that she can shoot a jumper from anywhere. She can go from downtown. She can pull it out from the backyard. I mean, she's one of those pull-up shooters that's just incredible. And she really changed the game of I think it was because of her and her performance prior to the championship game. And, of course, LSU as well, why so many people wanted to tune in. The viewership was I think it broke a record for the women's NCAA championship.
Well, it broke for the women's. Listen, it wasn't Caitlyn Clark, right? I think it was the team that Caitlyn Clark plays in. I think it was the fact that LSU was there, and their coach is fiery and she's amazing, and LSU plays with some style. Mm-hmm. I think you got to look at Angel Reese, who is a complete baller. Nothing but double doubles, nothing but rebound queen. I think you need to look at the fact that it was in Louisiana, it was in Houston, and a lot of people understand that Houston is West Louisiana in a lot of ways. And I think there was a piece of Middle America versus a little bit different America, and I think we saw that in what happened. But yeah, so I agree. I think it was good. I don't think, though, it was just Caitlyn. I think it was a lot of other things going on.
Yeah. And I didn't say it was just Caitlyn. I said it was Caitlyn plus LSU. There's so many things, but there was a lot of hype the week prior before because of Caitlyn Clark's dominant performance. And then you roll into the NCAA Women's Championship. You have LSU with, like you said, Kim Mulkey as the coach, and it's her second year at LSU. You have somebody like Angel Reese who pulled a record 34 double-doubles that season. And there's so many things to be excited for. And it was in Houston, like you said. It was in Houston, and the Final Four was in Houston. So it was pretty much incredible. Iowa ended up losing to LSU 102-85, a dominant performance. They won by 17 points. And let's get into our winners and losers. The first loser, let's start with the losers because I want to end the best for last. Our first loser is Jill Biden. I mean, this is our president of the United States is Joe Biden, and his spouse, the first lady, is Jill Biden. Jill Biden, she's a former educator. She's a current educator. I don't know what she.
I think she's a doctor too.
She's a doctorate too.
I think we need to put some respect on her name.
She's very educated. She's the first lady of the United States, but she made some remarks that sparked some controversy over this win, and she basically said that she was happy for LSU for winning, and she wanted to make a change. And she said, let's invite Iowa, who were the losing team, to the White House as well for the White House visit. Because
for the White visit?
For the White House visit.
For the White visit?
For the White House visit, because of the fact that she thinks that Iowa played a really great game. Now, statistically, that's incorrect. And the reason why I put her as a loser is because she got this way off. And I think she meant well when she invited Iowa out.
Why did she mean well?
But it came off as tone deaf.
Why did she mean well?
I think she meant well because she said it out loud on a podium. If she meant something that she didn't mean well, I don't think she would have said it so publicly. If it was something that she knew that was going to get backlash, it came off as I don't think she knew what she was saying was tone deaf. But
right, completely. It was completely tone deaf.
It was completely.
Losers never get invited to the White House.
Right. So it was completely tone deaf. And the reason why it was completely tone deaf, and she's my loser of the day, is because look at how Iowa is. I mean, Iowa was a predominantly white team, and people say, we shouldn't bring race into it. But let's look at the optics of the situation. At the time that LSU won, they were a predominantly black team. They're a predominantly black team. I believe there's only one white player on the team. And then you have Iowa, who's predominantly white on the team. And you have the first lady for the very first time suggesting that President Joe Biden invite the losing team to the White House. It came off as tone deaf because you never see them do this to men's teams. They didn't invite TCU to the White House after their loss in the championship in the men's college football championship. You didn't see them ever do this ever to any championship team. So why suggest for the first time ever that you invite the runner up when Black women are at the pinnacle of competition level and they win a championship. And I think that's why a lot of people got upset, was because it really, in my opinion, diminished what these Black women, predominantly Black women on the LSU team, accomplished. And it was essentially, if they were to come down, if that invite were to come out, if they were to invite Iowa to the White House, it would have watered down the success of that team. And I think that's why Angel Reese was upset at what happened, because of that situation. And Iowa was going to decline anyways. And if you really think about it, Jill Biden doesn't have any pull to bring anybody to the White House. It's ultimately Joe Biden.
I mean, she's sleeping with the president.
Yeah, but
I do think, like, I mean, as your wife, you do have pull.
If it would have been received well, I think it would have went down. But if you think about it, if the shoe was on the other foot, would LSU have been invited? Probably not. You've never
probably. She would not even thought that. And let me just jump in real quick. I'm going to say it real simple. It's not only that she saw these young women that she can maybe identify with early on in her life. It is the fact that she doesn't watch sports. She has no idea. If you watch, I can't imagine another first lady getting up in there and say, hey, we should invite the second place team, the losers, to the White House. And so it shows that she does not watch sports. And I think we need to be open and honest about that. And that may give her a little bit of a pass. But the other thing is, she looks at it, and I think she sees it through a very special lens, and that special lens happened to be white. And it's not good or bad. It just is, because I look at things and I see things maybe through a Black lens sometimes. And that's just real talk, right? So that doesn't mean I'm wrong or right. That's just the environment that I've grown up in.
Well, I'm not going to say she doesn't watch sports. I don't know that. I'm not going to make that assumption, because she was at the game. She saw the game. She saw LSU beat Iowa by 17 points. What bothers me is that it was factually wrong. Iowa didn't play a great game. They lost by 17 points.
That's what I'm saying. She doesn't watch sports. You don't make that statement if you watch sports.
I think she believed they played a great game because of the hype around Caitlyn Clark, the hype around Iowa. Then perhaps it was politically motivated. The Iowa caucuses are coming around. Who knows why she said what she said?
No. It's white. She's white.
A part of me thinks she maybe saw herself in the Iowa team just a bit, right? And said, hey, let's celebrate all women. Because she came out afterwards and said we wanted to celebrate all women. But what the tone deaf part was she's diminishing the hard work of the LSU team, who deserve to win and they deserve to be there. And it's very, it's not okay that the first time this suggestion is made publicly by a president or a vice president is when the face of an LSU team, which is Angel Reese, which at that time she had made that statement, everything was going viral about her being classless. She makes this suggestion, and it really it could have watered down what LSU accomplished. And that's the part that was tone deaf, and why people who say that this isn't about race or anything like that, they get pushback, because we already know, you and I, Caitlyn, that the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action are white women. That is factual, and you can research that. And also, I mean, there's this thing that people always argue about called white privilege. And these two things come out when you hear stories like this. And that's why people like Angel Reese say it's a joke, because the extension of an invite for the Iowa team to go to the White House it doesn't help the white privilege debate, and it doesn't help the affirmative action debate either.
Yeah, there's no way in hell that LSU, if they lost by 17 points, would have been suggested to be invited to the spot.
I agree. Period. I agree. And I think, like I said, those are the things that make that argument, even if fans more flames to that argument. It adds more value to the white privilege debate that everybody says doesn't exist. It adds more value to the affirmative action thing that everybody doesn't exist. She literally put a stamp on that when she suggested to invite the Iowa team to the White House. Yeah. Anyways, people are saying to preach and only champions get sprinkles. Okay.
Well, and just real quick, I said this because Joe Biden was white, right? and that's not fair. Let me just be honest about that. It's not fair for me to make that statement. However, when you are not around of people that don't look like you wind up gravitating to what looks like you. And I think she saw herself and other people in middle America in that team, the Caitlyn team, the Iowa team, and that's why she did it. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Okay, so
she was a loser.
That was,
in my opinion, she was a loser.
Yeah, I hate calling her a loser, but sure.
Well, we're doing winners and losers, so she was a loser in this situation.
Yeah.
Caitlyn Clark, she was a winner though. Caitlyn Clark was
Baller.
a winner. I mean, she's got to be one of the best players, actually, if not the best player in women's college basketball right now. She's completely dominant. I think she broke a record in women's college play or in college playoffs, period. What did she have the last game? Maybe 41 points or something like that. It was.
Well, let me ask you this. Is Caitlyn Clark really the best player, or maybe her team is not as good as they need to be? Which is kind of crazy because it might be part of the Jordan syndrome, right? Like, you got decent players around you, but then she really balled out. I want to say that she assisted on 60+% of their points. Either scored or assisted on something like 60% of their points. She shoots ungodly threes. It's funny because those are the same threes that everybody says doesn't need to be shot, but Caitlyn Clark is shooting them. And everybody's like, hey, shoot more threes like that because you ball, right? But she's good. I like her a lot. I like her. I like her demeanor. I like her fire for the game. Caitlyn's a winner.
Yeah, I don't think it's because of her team sucks. I mean, possibly, maybe it is her team sucks, but I feel that also takes away from her greatness too. She won the Naismith Award this season as the best women's college basketball player in the country. She also averages 27 points per game, and she averaged 37.3 points per game recently in the playoffs. So for me, she's a phenomenal player, and she carries herself very, very well. And she trash talks. I love that about her. She trash talks on the court, and she really brings what we need as women to women's basketball. We need people who shoot like that. We need people who are great at what they do. We need people who give us that Splash Brothers Steph Curry vibe on the court when it comes to women's basketball. So her dominance has really brought a lot of attention to her. It's brought a lot of attention to the Iowa team, and her shooting ability, her range, all of that stuff, all of those things are great in addition to her trash talk, in addition to her brand. She's a winner to me for sure, and she carried herself very gracefully after everything went down after the women's basketball game. She said that she has nothing but respect for Angel Reese. Angel Reese shouldn't be getting criticized. If you could dish the trash talk, you should also be able to take it. She took everything on the chin like a true competitor, and she proves that women can trash talk and still ball. And if they lose, they can accept their losses like a true champion. You're a champion if you can handle yourself. I feel like if you can handle losses well, then that means you're a true competitor. And I think she exemplifies that, and she brings something great for women. So for me, hands down, she's a winner after this weekend.
Yeah, there's no doubt that she's a winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's nothing less to say about her.
Yeah, no, she's
all right.
She's incredible. Who's our next winner? Angel Reese?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Angel Reese, who's on the opposite side of the spectrum. She played for LSU. She actually ended up winning the NCAA Women's Championship with her LSU team. She quickly became the face of the team. She was already the face of the team, but now everybody knows her name because of the infamous gesture that John Cena / Tony Yayo "You Can't See Me" gesture she did in front of Caitlyn Clark during the final seconds of the game before the final whistle blew. And I've been watching her vlogs all day and her interviews, and she's just a regular all-American girl. She loves to do her lashes. She's a girly girl, but she's also got this tough edge to her. She loves basketball. She is She works really hard. I think she's she has the most. She brings in the most money with NIL deals in college women's basketball.
I know she does the most NIL deals.
Yeah, so she.
I don't know if she brings in the most money, but I know she has the most NIL deals.
Okay, so she has the most NIL deals.
Possibly money. You could be right. Possibly money.
Either way, I mean, that's a whole feat on its own. And she has the charisma. She has the personality. I love everything about her. I think she's amazing. And she also, like Caitlyn Clark, does trash talk too. She's not a secret to trash talk. If you watch her games throughout the season, she's not new to the trash talk. She's true to the trash talk. She not only did that to Caitlyn Clark before, she's done it throughout the season. She's been heavily criticized, though. And she handled it really well post-game. She said, hey, I've been called I'm too hood. I've been told I'm too ghetto. This championship is for the women that look like me, who get treated differently. And she made it clear in post-game interviews that she's done since then that she does get treated differently because of the way she looks. And she knows that firsthand. I mean, people have been telling her her and Caitlyn Clark, they've been telling them the most ugliest, nastiest things online. And she is unapologetically herself. She's an unapologetic Black woman. She is intelligent. She's smart. She's a champion. And I think she handled that situation really well. At the end of the day, she's a competitor. And I don't like the comparisons that people had comparing her to being classless and ghetto and all those things. She said on an interview she takes screenshots of all those things. And she has 17,000 screenshots of all the negative things people say about her. And I think she was a true winner because she's a champion. She knows what her brand is. She's confident with herself. She's not apologizing for anything that happened. And to me, she's a true winner of this situation. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
But I don't think the people's can. Okay, the people's can hear me now. Sorry, they're like, what's going on? I'm trying to hand out a microphone. Got another show we're getting ready to produce. Man, this is tough because being a Black guy, I see things a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And what she did, first of all, we have a lot of people that don't even watch sports making opinions on a women's game that they never watched. They didn't see this happen live. You remember when Janet Jackson had her top ripped off by Justin Timberlake and everybody said they saw it?
Yeah.
Right? Nobody saw this game. I mean, they didn't see her do the John Cena, you can't see me. Mm-hmm. But they made a determination about class off of what somebody looked like. Nothing else. That one gesture, it was like she's classless. Mm. And then they see Caitlyn Clark and they're like, oh, she did it. Reese did it worse.
Well,
no, man.
Well, not only that, the media treated it differently too. Caitlyn Clark, after she did the John Cena "You Can't See Me," ESPN did a whole entire segment called Caitlyn
on Trash Talk.
It was called Caitlyn Clapbacks.
Yeah,
and it was a segment of ESPN interviewing her teammates, asking them what was the best trash talk moment for Caitlyn Clark. So it was turned into a cute segment. John Cena even tweeted out, you go Glen Coco, something to that nature, like you're doing a great job, sweetie, type of stuff. Happy for her that she did it. And then you see Angel Reese do it to taunt her because it was a game and she won. And she gets called classless by these other losers of the Final Four tournament, March Madness, which is Keith Olbermann. He's a loser. And if you could put up that tweet, Guyland, with Keith.
Yeah. So let me just real quick before you get to Keith Olbermann, because this will tie into it. I'll let you run. So you see somebody with a different complexion make a movement, and then somebody else with another complexion does the exact same thing. You may not follow around, but she's taunting on the court. Their ESPN does this whole piece on her. And it's not that the media treated it different. It's that people are ignorant. Mm-hmm. And I remember I had this rant talking about how people are upset because they're not a certain person and they can't go and make it rain in a strip club, and somebody put me on YouTube and made fun of me and everything else. This is another one of those pieces. Mm-hmm. You sorry ass fans are haters. and you have nothing else better to do with your life than get your little fat Twitter figures, and I'm fat, so your mama is too. And you go out there and all you do is you type, and you want to hate somebody. Why do you hate these people so much? These are young women. Why do you hate these women so much? What does that say about yourself? What does that say about who you are? And and then you put out bots, and these bots are nailing these women, and then you all are like, yeah, she's classless. Yeah, she's a thug. She's going to make more money in a day than y'all can ever hope to make in your life. Like, why don't you celebrate greatness? You know why? Because the greatness doesn't look like you. Yeah. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you little, especially men, you little insecure incel men running around messing with women all the time. And these are young women.
I think.
Go ahead.
If you could pull up the key stuff, because I'd love to get into that.
Yeah, this falls into it.
It falls right into it. So, all right, here's the losers. We have, and I have one more winner. Shaq isn't a loser; he's a winner. But I got Keith Olbermann. He said that he's a sports anchor, and
he used to be a sports anchor. Keith Olbermann used to be the bomb.
Now he's
no longer.
Now he's saying that Angel Reese is a fucking idiot.
Right.
Which is fucked up, because first of all, you didn't even know Angel Reese. He probably didn't even watch women's basketball. I highly doubt he did. And then you have Jose de Jesus Ortiz. He said that this is classless. Angel Reese is only 20. She's still young. But taunting Caitlyn Clark like that is a pure lack of class. Win with class. Lose with class. Play with class. Clark's mom and dad can be proud that her daughter ignored the taunting. They raised her right. I mean, this is really coded language.
Why don't you just drop the N-bomb, dog? Just drop the N-bomb.
So let me say something really quick, Caitlyn. This dude, Jose, backpedaled as soon as the internet came for him, and he said, well, I didn't see what Caitlyn did. Of course you didn't. Of course you didn't see what Caitlyn did. Because if you saw what Caitlyn did, you wouldn't be saying these things, or maybe he still would have said these things.
They still would, because they still say it.
So like I said, Angel Reese is only 20. She's still young. She has a pure lack of class. Why do people have to win with class? When has it ever been said to win with class? Everybody brings up Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. She's not that. She's not that type of player. She's like similar to a Dennis Rodman type of player.
I know you're going. I just want to bring you back a second.
What's going on?
I just want to bring you back a second. Because who determines class?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, who are you to determine class? Who are you to say this, you lack class? Who are you?
That's what I'm saying.
To say that. And my
look at this woman. Look at this picture.
You're saying
smile, happy, engaged.
Yeah.
Well, come on.
Mm-hmm. And my thing is, like I said, she has a college deal, full-blown scholarship. She has an education. She has brand deals. She's carried herself to the highest level, and you're calling her lack of class because of one action that she did. That, by the way, so many NBA players, so many men, they fight in the stands. They fight each other. Sometimes they fight fans. They curse people out. They do way worse things than what Angel Reese did. And I have never seen so many headlines over what one person did, which is the John Cena move. That's exactly what her opponent did, as a way to taunt her like an athlete does when they're true competitors. So these people are clowns. These people the internet is going to do internet stuff. People are going to be racist. People are going to be disgusting to both of those women. It's a shame that women still have to go through that, especially when they're playing at such a high level. But I really admire that Angel Reese is unapologetic and not apologizing to anybody about what happened.
Nor does she need to.
She doesn't need to.
There's not a reason in hell for her to apologize.
That's why I think that the men that you were talking about earlier are mad, because sometimes when you are an athlete, especially a black athlete, especially a black female athlete, and you're not inside of a box that they want to put you in, and you are different than everybody else, and you're unapologetically yourself, they're going to try to tear you down and to make you into somebody that you're not. So that's why I like that Angel Reese is standing in her own truth and being her authentic self.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So
is there something else to say?
Drew Staying True says there's too many Karens out there being soft as hell. The NFL's taunt rule. Luch is saying she's a baller. I mean, she's incredible. So, I mean, these are
they're both incredible, and those things can be held true. Both of those things can be held true.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, NBA playoffs, are they exciting? I'm just going to keep this short and simple. I'm not excited about the NBA playoffs at all.
Yeah.
There's something about the NBA that doesn't really draw me anymore. I don't know if it's because I live in San Antonio and I'm interested in the Spurs and the Spurs are tanking. I'm not excited about the draft either. I really don't care.
That's what happens when you lose.
Yeah, maybe it's because the team that is in my city is losing, but I just don't find it exciting anymore for some reason. I feel like it's always the same teams, the same narratives, the same stories, and I just haven't. I've been watching, right? I saw Hawks versus Bulls yesterday, but I'm just not as into it as I've always been my whole life. And I'm not the only person that thinks that NBA viewership is dropping. So I don't know what the problem is, but if you guys can tell me what you think the problem is with the NBA, because I'm just not interested anymore. Honestly, I'm not interested in the NBA like I normally am. I don't know if it's because there's not.
It's the Spurs. If we were in the playoffs right now and we had the 1 through 4 seed, we'd be happy.
I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we would be paying attention to the playoffs. I care about the play-in games a little bit because the Lakers might be kicked out. I love to see LeBron do something kind of special. I want to see what John Morant's going to do. I want to see what Steph Curry's going to do. So I want to see, but I'm not excited. Like, there's zero excitement. I'm not excited about the draft either. It's just kind of like blah for me right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah,
me too.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing is, like, for me, it is boring. It is blah. And I think it is because of the team. But it's also, too, I think I'm a little bit spoiled. And you might be spoiled, too, Caitlyn. Back in the day, there was, like, NBA players with serious beefs with each other, like the Pistons versus the Bulls. Or you had, like, Isaiah Thomas hating on Michael Jordan. Or you had the beef between Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller. I mean, there's so many beefs that they were enticing to look at. Now I don't really see the beefs and the back and forth. And I think that's a part of me being spoiled as a young kid, watching these entertaining drama storylines. And I don't really see that anymore, with the exception of like some political things that I'm not really into. So it could be that as well.
Yeah, I never was drawn to the fighting of the NBA. Like, I was drawn to the fighting of the NBA, but the little drama, petty stuff, what somebody might say with it, I really, that to me is not sports. That is not cute. It is, and for me, it's because you don't look at hockey the same way, because it's real quick for people to call black men thugs and all this other stuff because of the way that they act. And when you go to other sports, it's accepted. So I'm just, that doesn't, the little pettiness of he said, she said, and whatever else doesn't do anything for me. I'm all about the teams and the games. 20 years of being a Spurs fan, and I wonder how much of this stuff is real too, Carolina. Like, I think we know more about the drama now than we knew before.
You know what? You're right.
But I also think that people kind of knew that when you went to a game, or it was the Bulls playing the Pistons, like, heads were going to roll, right? People were going to have hard fouls. You had Lambeer, you had what's your favorite dude, the one that colors his hair?
Sohan?
Dennis Rodman.
Okay.
Right? You had Dennis Rodman. So you had players during that time that was going to knock the people's block off. But remember, you had the Malice in the Palace. And everything stopped after that. Because you can't sell a bunch of black men that people appear to want to be savages.
Well, no, I think
you can't sell that storyline anymore.
I think it started changing with Allen Iverson, because Iverson,
AI too, yeah,
because they changed the NBA dress code with Allen Iverson. And he had a lot of criticism because he dressed like a quote unquote thug and he was classless. All the things that they're saying about Angel Reese right now, and look at what they say about Allen Iverson today. That he's a legend. That he's one of the best players of all time. People put them in their top 5 all the time. So Angel Reese, I mean, going back to her, what I say to you is, you're going to be a legend too if you keep going down this road.
Yep.
And they keep.
All right.
Okay.
We got another show waiting, so we got one more.
All right.
This or that.
Okay.
Men's Final Four or women's Final Four, and I want you to get the last comment on this, so I'll go first.
Okay. You go first. Go.
I'll go first.
Okay, go.
Men's Final Four, up until the Final Four, was engaging. Women's Final Four, up until the Final Four, was kind of And the Final Four, women's blew the men's Final Four away. But the first half of the men's was better than the women's. But I think because as a man, I know more of the teams, more people were watching, they're more engaged. You had your last second shots and everything else like that. But the women's Final Four was way better than the men's Final Four. And the final game, off the charts.
So your answer is women's.
Almost a tie, but I give it to the women's because the ending was better.
Okay. I say women's too because it was just so entertaining. I mean,
Yeah.
seeing everything. I didn't get to catch it live, like you said. You had asked me if I was watching. I wasn't. But just the aftermath and everything that's come from that, and
Yeah, you like drama.
Yeah, I do. And seeing women, I like. That's what keeps me entertained into sports. I like seeing storylines and narratives and all those things and opinions on that and talking points. So. All of the things that stem from the small action of one unapologetic woman, and that was amazing to me. So I definitely have to pick women's Final Four.
Yep.
Do we have another one, or are we done for the day?
That was it. That was the last one.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. Matthew Lerman says Sean Elliott said the one and done rule softened the NBA because young players can't handle defense. Okay, well that could be it too.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of true things, but. Sorry we started late, guys, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys so much. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, a little bit sooner. We usually like to end before 8 o'clock, but we'll be back. We'll be back next week, guys. I love y'all. Let me know your thoughts and what you guys think about the winners and losers. See you next week. Bye.